I'd like to take a look at this Ocaso that I picked up from Blade Show. This model is called the Solstice, and they had quite a few different finishes, including one that would look kind of like camo, the way they had anodized the scales. I kind of chose this fancier pattern just because this seems like more of a gentleman's carry knife, one that, you know, you take out to dinner or something, and I just thought it would be kind of suitable. This is a liner lock with fantastic access to the lock bar. Nice long slender blade, full flat grind. The blade, there you can see it says Solstice, maybe you can see it. And here it says the blade is S35VN, which I'm pretty happy about. And made in Taiwan, not China. It has a deep carry pocket clip that is reversible. One thing I liked, the pivot was just a little bit loose, so I had to tighten it up, just to my liking. Look at the pivot. It's a captive pivot. Look how pretty that pivot is. All in all, it's just a really nice looking knife. You can see that it's an easy 4-finger grip. There's a little bit of jimping on there. That's effective but not annoying. The action is just fantastic. It is fall shut if I shake it a little bit. See, it's got good centering. I think I can show that. Let's get some weight and dims on this. I hadn't heard about an Ocaso Solstice before, and I saw them laying there, and like I said, they had a lot of different varieties. They had harpoon style blades, which I really liked too. The handles had different finishes, and it was kind of hard making my mind up. But I am happy with the one I got. So about 2.5 ounces. And we have 7 and just over 3/4 inch long, with a 3.5 inch blade and a 3 3/8 cutting edge. Blade stock thickness is a 0.13. Blade handle thickness is a 0.43, pretty much. So it's less than 1/2 inch thick. Like I said, the liner lock is very easy to get to and disengage. They did a good job of cutting this away and then beveling the edges on the handle to make this comfortable to hold. Kind of like a folding steak knife, isn't it? You take this somewhere, and that's kind of why I wanted it to be a little fancier if I take it out to eat and use it or something. If you take a look at the clip, you'll notice that there's no screws underneath it or anything. It is fairly short, and they don't give you much here to slide over your pocket. So if I stand up here and shove it down onto my pocket, it is just a little bit of a chore. It doesn't pop right over my pocket. Instead of going straight down like that onto my pocket, I take it, I push it, and just kind of move it to the side. Well, I'm gonna rip the paper if I do. Move it to the side, and then it goes right into my pocket fine. But if you go to and just try to jam it straight down onto the jeans pocket, you might struggle with it a little bit. Comes out of the pocket fine though. So I really dig this knife. It feels like it's very good quality, not made in China, which is great, and an S35 blade. It was really tough to decide between this blade or the Harpoon, because I love the look of the Harpoon, but the Harpoon had a flat up here and the primary grind came up about 2/3 of the way. Nothing wrong with that, but I really like the flat grind. I think it's going to make for a slicier knife. And to be honest, you know, with something like this, it's all about the ability to cut. I want a good edge geometry. I want this thing just to glide through material. So with that in mind, let's see how sharp the factory edge is. Okay, let's see here. Turn on the tester. Nice and slow and controlled. Nice and easy. I try to go the same speed every time. .142. That's a pretty good result. I'm not disappointed by that. However, for this knife, I think that I want to probably sharpen it up a little bit more. Maybe it just take a little bit of a stropping, because if I look on there, I don't feel a burr, but it kind of looks like there's a tiny little micro bevel. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. It definitely feels sharp, but I think I'm going to tune that up just a little bit. Like I said, with a knife this size, it's all about the slicing ability. It's not a combat knife, it's not a hard use knife. This is one you take out somewhere and use to slice your steak, or, you know, maybe you just open packages with it or something like that. But I think it's a beautiful knife. I love it. Let's see, is it running on bearings? It appears to be running on bearings. It feels like it's running, yeah, it's definitely running on bearings. Fairly small diameter bearings. That's why it feels so light. The detent is tuned nice. When you light switch this, it just flies right out. No issues. Push button, oops, if I don't hit the table. Push button's the same way. Now the one thing I've heard some people say, double clutch. So when I disengage the blade, see, the blade is disengaged now. It catches on the detent ball right there. So I have to move it past that just a little bit. Now if you just push that lock bar and hold it out of the way long enough, then that's not an issue. Just something to keep in mind. I don't think that means much here or there, but it's just something I noticed. So yeah, if you haven't heard of an Ocaso Solstice before, it's a really nice little knife. Check one out. These are not cheap knives. S35 VM blade and everything, but I think as far as something in this long, slender profile that's been made popular lately, I think this is one of the nicest ones that I've seen. The CEO started it, and then a lot of people have followed with this easy to carry form factor. So check out the Ocaso Solstice. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.